Wow. You know, I keep saying this, the way the mainstream media is going, the way some of these also smaller sites, the way they talk about things, they're just really, they go way out of their way to become very political. They try to enforce their own draconian, views on life, and they just spewing stuff and just putting their foot in their mouths and then shoving it up their butt. Hi, it's Zane. Thank you for watching this edition of Madman with the Show. You know, the attack on anime and manga continues. I mean, they have to leave them alone, really. I mean, Japan is just being hit in every direction. I mean, I have another story coming up on, what's going on in Japan itself. And it's becoming, quoting a little Star Wars, it becomes a little bit of villainy and vileness, if you know that line. And we'll discuss that on another episode. But here we have, media like CBR, Anime News Network, and a lot of others that just basically they spew this stuff. And it's amazing. I'm glad for Bounding Into Comics. They happen to be very good. What they put into their articles, they're very detailed. They'll give you what's what going on in movie, television, comic books, anime, censorship, video games. They're in that good spectrum. There is real media out there. It's these small independent groups that they're doing their best. It's like this show and many other shows on YouTube. The YouTubers, we are the new media. We are the alternative shows and specials, music, movies, straight across the board. Hollywood is burning. Japan is, hell, what's one of the number one movies right now? It's a Japanese anime. It's a Japanese anime right now. It's amazing. Even though the numbers are not that big, but it's big enough. It's big enough. But here we have, Bounding wrote this in, it's on a CBR article, which I gotta laugh at this. I really gotta laugh. I haven't watched One Piece in a bit. I am still trying to catch up. I'm about a couple hundred episodes behind, but I still do watch it every once in a while. I'll watch an episode or two. I've been watching, No Game, No Life I'm watching right now. Also watching another one, I forgot the Kagamosha, the one about gambling addiction, which is, I'm already in the second season of that, and that's really, really good. If it's on, what was it on? Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, it's on Netflix. And basically, it's pretty good. It's pretty dark humor there on gambling addiction. And there's so many different animes out there, different styles, different animation. And we have the same thing with American animation. We have all different styles and artwork. And you have to remember, it's like art. The artist has a style, whether it's Renoir, or Salvador Dali, they all have their style. Some of them are unusual than others. Some are just basic, simple portraits. Others are toward the true bizarre nature. Now, the reason why I bring that up is the CBR article talks about One Piece. And basically that it reinforces harmful stereotypes because of the designs of the female characters on the show. And I'm going to read this a little bit on here. A recent op-ed published by CBR has claimed that One Piece magnate Oda female character designs reinforce harmful stereotypes through the piece supporting arguments suggest either a general unfamiliarity with or an intentional bad faith assessment of the long-running series manga. Yeah, One Piece has been around for years, okay? It is a good anime. It's fun, okay? And you notice that CBR focuses on the women. They focus on this, the women's a stereotype. There are men in this series also. You know, the main character, Luffy, stretches all over the freaking place. It's like his body is weird. And there are other characters that are the same way. In the October 31st piece titled One Piece, What Oda's Female Character Designs Actually Say About Beauty Standards. What does it have to do with beauty standards? See, that's the thing that gets me on the just the article title alone. What does it have to be beauty standards? He drew this, okay? He is an animator cartoonist. This is what he does. He creates, you know, you can go through everything from The Simpsons to Family Guy to Futurama to Archer to every cartoon, everything that's on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. None of it pretty much doesn't really match each other in certain ways when it comes to whether it's male, female, animal. Everything is drawn to the way the person who is the animator or drawer puts it. And it's plain and simple. Why are you going to complain? CBR author Vivian So, of course, it has to be someone, you know, no offense to women, but it's always some SJW female that basically thinks she's a feminist, doesn't understand what feminism is. And then when a true feminist comes out and tells them you're not a feminist, they insult the feminists and says they don't know what they're talking about and saying that they're not feminists. Contended that Oda's female characters are either hyper feminine or outstandingly bizarre. The whole series is bizarre. With a bare in between, and that characters' personalities correlate with the design. Beautiful characters are usually damsels in distress or burgeoning heroines, whereas bizarre characters are usually unscrupulous villains or comic relief, argues So. With this divide, Oda's female character designs are often perpetuated the idea that beauty equates goodness or lack of agency. It's how he drew it. Okay? If you have a problem with that, don't watch the series. Really. I'm telling you. If you have a problem with a TV series, I have a problem with Star Trek Discovery. I don't watch it anymore. Plain and simple. I don't like the new Doctor Who. I don't watch it anymore. Plain and simple. Can you be any more plain and simple? Howard Stern said many years ago, I keep bringing this up, if you do not like my program, you have a hand. You can go up to the radio and either change it to another channel or turn it off. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. What one piece of artwork that someone might like may be disliked by another person. That's okay. That is the difference of opinion. Plain and simple. But to sit there and write other garbage saying, oh, they're sexist about it, stuff like that. Did you sit and talk with the gentleman? Did you sit and talk with the animator? Whether it's a he, whether it's a she, did you speak with him? Okay? No, you didn't. Immediately off the bat, Sale's first argument falls apart in the face of even the most base knowledge of the series. As such, beautiful characters such as Pirona and Alvida, literally the first female antagonist Luffy meets in his quest to become king of the pirates, are depicted as some of the series' most capable antagonists, while women with the bizarre appearances as Curly Dalan, Lola, and Shimbu are shown to be the most heroic individuals to come to the aid of the Straw Hat Pirates. Nevertheless, Seo then turns to the issue of One Piece's rampant same-body syndrome and asserted that Oda's 3 circles and an X technique for drawing female characters emphasized the lack of care to put into many of his female character designs, for making for a roster of near cookie-cutter characters, which helped turns him into a reinforcing harmful stereotype. Let me tell you something. I'm not an artist. I draw. I started trying to learn to draw and stuff like that. There are styles that you start with. It doesn't matter which artist it is, whether it's American, Japanese, Korean, they all have their style to draw a character. I dare you this. Go on YouTube. There are plenty of videos from The Simpsons, Archer, Futurama, all of them. And you'll see that they don't have similar styles of drawing their characters. Some start in a basic way. Others have a template. And you could see this. You could buy books on drawing anime, drawing manga, drawing regular cartoons. There are templates. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. The biggest perfect. Have you ever seen those matchbook covers or advertisements on how to draw, learn how to draw this figure, and you can attend our college and stuff like that? Look at the style of that. That is a template. That is a basic template that is used in animation. That's first taught in animation. From there, you tool it and you progress from it and learn to do your own. Some people are able to draw things, at a good pace and to come out with a good product. Remember, most of these people that are anime, manga, they have a deadline to make. Okay? And basically, they can't sit there and use the same template that maybe you might have learned in school. They have to try to create their own to help speed up the process, but still be artistic in the same way. So in the years Oda has been doing this, he created his 3-circle and an X technique, which works for him. It works for him. It may not work for everybody, but it works for certain people, and it works for Oda. And it's a style that you have to understand. It's basically, this is how it is. It's not being racist, okay? You have to understand, this is not sexist, racist, misogynist, whatever you want to start calling it. I don't know what is wrong with some of these people. They just live there to criticize others and call it stereotypical, oh my God, I got a D&D one coming up that just is just insane how they talk about the characters on that. And, you have people just criticizing how they're drawn. I mean, you have Uzaki-chan. Oh, she's got big breasts. You got a little child with big breasts on there. She's 19 years old, as I said before. And there are girls her age with that breast size. That's not, you complain. How can I put this? You complain that basically you're not being realistic in your comment, but when you go realistic, you complain that it's too realistic. So what do you want? What do you really want? It is ridiculous what these minute people, like those that are in Australia that have banned anime and manga, those of it that have just been complaining over here. I mean, it is so insane. Many slim characters are depicted as heroic at heart, or essentially damsel in distress. Villains or cannily strong females who are pretty are also no exception, as they are cast to the sidelines and often have no feature or well-developed fight. You got to remember, scripting is scripting, and you have to balance everything out the best way you can. Not taking away from the main character or the main story. Sometimes you have to sacrifice one thing to get to another. Perfect example is you look at Endgame and how that last fight scene was done. They tried to squeeze in too much. And I think they did a little over the top. There were too many over the top on there. And they tried to focus in on everything. That scene where they were focused on all the women and stuff like that. You shouldn't have gone that way. That's a focus that shouldn't have been there. They're there to fight, obviously. But you have the main Avengers. You want to focus on the main Avengers leading everybody else out on there. Now, whether they focus back on Ant-Man, Wasp, or any of the other women on there, Pepper Potts, you could do that in a way where you don't have to gather them together in one area just to show it. And in One Piece, they do that. Okay. Oda's drawing technique was revealed in SBS Shitsu Oborsuro, or I'm Taking Questions, sections of One Piece Volume 79. When in response to a fan asking Oda to please teach us a tip or two of how to draw that heartless hourglass body, all One Piece female characters seem to have. You could see there are people out there who like the way he draws. It specifically requested Oda to make sure you don't forget to include their airbags. Oda replied, I would suggest you think a woman's proportion as 3 circles, 1 X. It's fine. That's fine. Hey, women have chests, okay? Whether it's large, small, various sizes. But you got to make sure you have to have that anatomy in there. And the same thing with guys. You got to have, if you're going to put 6-pack abs or you're going to put a fat gut belly on there. Okay? Make your choice on that. I only draw this kind of body, Oda noted, so I get a lot of complaint postcards from my female audience. Let's stay strong and keep a living single. See, like, he likes to play with it. And, when he does this, he's going to say, hey, I don't care what you think. I'm going to draw the way I'm going to draw. The observation that more conventionally attractive women in One Piece are sidelined as damsels in distress could not be further from the truth. As aside from the pair of female crew members aboard the Thousand Sunny, attractive women such as Carrot, Kozuki, Toki, and Portrays D-Rogue regularly play major roles in determining the outcome of numerous events across the street. Furthermore, the claim that attractive female villains are cast to the sidelines or often have no feature or well-developed fight is patently hyperbolic, as Monet, Kafla, and Sugar are among the most memorable throughout all of One Piece. See, this is the problem. Everything toward these small 1%ers is that there's not enough women, there's not enough minorities, not enough of any different culture are in these shows, movies, animes. They don't get enough awards. Let me tell you something. It is really bullshit. And I have to say, it's bullshit what these people have done to the industry. Hollywood is on fire for a reason. And it's for these hyperbolic political points. A checklist. Do we have this amount? Do we have that amount? I just heard Jordan Peele is going to be redoing People Under the Stairs. What? There were not enough black people and People Under the Stairs? Are you going to make the white people even more racist than they were in the movie? I mean, it's amazing. I mean, nothing against Jordan Peele as far as getting into the movie business. I have the offense of what he has been doing. When he first started getting into movies, he did that cat movie, which was fantastic, where they were trying to save that little kitten and all that comedy with his partner from his TV series. That kind of comedy was good. I don't know what happened to him. Something happened to him that changed everything. Everything that he produced prior, it's the same thing with a lot of other people that have produced some great animation. And I can't see what is going on and how what caused them to change. What caused them to just get out, and just become so hyperbolical political to the point where you've just ruined the industry. And it's not only Jordan Peele, it's a lot of other directors, it's a lot of other actors and actresses, that are in the business, and producers. When you praise a movie, that just literally about 10 years old, gyrating, and yet you criticize an anime about a 19-year-old girl who's trying to help a depressed young man who's closed himself out to the world in a comedic type sense, and you criticize that more because of her breasts. I don't know what we've gotten to. I mean, lately I've been reading up on a lot of stuff. I started buying a lot of manga now. I've started buying. I just bought H.P. Lovecraft, his complete works, because a lot of people were calling him racist and on there. And there was like I said in another video, there was a great YouTube video that explains, what he went through. Now, it's nothing to excuse some of his comments in his life, but when you look at what he went through, he didn't have an easy life. He was ill, very ill for quite some time. He lost his family, his mother, his father. They went from being wealthy to being very poor. And then yet he wrote these stories that are some of the greatest horror novels of all time. Horror stories that are taken, reused, made into new shows. And the thing about it is, these are the same people who, when you look at HBO Lovecraft, which is just literally crap, and they talk about how much racist that he is, but yet they'll use his own works and make money off of it. Put that in your mind. And it's the same thing with this CBR report. This is just literally a click to gain money off of this, because basically they're talking about how women are treated on this anime cartoon. It's a cartoon. When will you understand? These are cartoons. These are animes. These are comic books and mangas. They're going to be over the top. Have you not looked at the cartoons of the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s to present day? There are plenty different characterizations, how things are drawn. Some of it's pure crap, but still, that's the way they drew it. And some of it is brilliant. One Piece happens to be one that is brilliant. It's very well done, and the whole article from CB. I challenge you to go read it, because it's just literally pure crap. What they're talking about in there, and like I said, there are weird characters on there. J.J. Vallon's Fairy Tales. If you haven't seen that on Adult Swim, I challenge you to go see that and see how bizarre the female characters are drawn in that series, or any of the other TV series that animated that's on the Adult Swim network. There's so many, and I don't hear anybody complaining about those yet, and maybe they will complain about them down the line. You see that they're focusing primarily on anime lately. The dozen of articles that have been out, the bans and stuff like that, that's going on in Australia, what's going on in Japan, what's going on over here, the purchases that Sony's trying to purchase, Crunchyroll, the issues with Funimation's English dubs on there, how they're changing it toward the to resemble the political views that are going on, which is totally wrong. You're taking away from the actual scripting of the way that the person who created the series, you're destroying their work. They are jealous of these people. They're starting. You've seen companies like Netflix that are pumping money into anime. They have a Godzilla series coming out, a Pacific Rim, and several others that are coming out that are being done by anime studios in Japan. Project IG, Studio Ghibli. Why? Because this is what people are watching. These are good. Are they cheaper to make? Depends. It depends. Some animations, yeah, if you go cheap on the animation, draw it real quick, get it out, it's going to look like crap. Or you're going to have some that are drawn really good that some like for example the Godzilla series, the 3 movies, some people didn't like it. I enjoyed it, but some other people didn't like it because it was drawn by guys who do they do video games, and they try to design it in a way that's similar to a video game type with 2 different kinds of animation. Then you have the standard animation like One Piece and No Game No Life and Gate and Ghost in the Shell. You know, you have those kind of animations that are popular and that people will watch constantly. You know, I've been watching anime since I was a kid. I go back to the 70s, and you say, "Whoa, 70s?" Yeah, I watched anime in the 70s before actually anime got really into the US. And the reason why I was able to see it is because of UHF television. UHF television back in the day used to sell time, just like, you know, when you see product placement time for products on the overnight where they're shoveling that new frying pan at you, or mixer, or whatever it is. They used to sell time to other networks. We have a channel in New York City. I think it's called Telemundo now. Channel 47 WNJU out of Newark, New Jersey. It's all Spanish network. I'm trying to remember which company owns them now. It's either AT&T or the other company out there. Don't have it off the top of my head when I recorded this. But basically, back in the time when it was just UHF channel by itself, you know, these UHF channels struggled. You know, they basically worked on advertisement and stuff like that. And they were building. They had news, they had specials, stuff like that. But it cost them money, and they couldn't, you know, all the time afford this. Because they were buying soap operas from Mexico, from South America, from the Caribbean. And that cost money to produce. And then, of course, you have the news network, their news shows. So basically what they did was they offered time to other networks from overseas. One such network was Nippon Television. Nippon Television was trying to get a mainstay because basically, you know, in New York City, we do have a nice, sizable Asian population here. You know, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, Korean. And this is at the point, you know, right at the borderline of the beginning of cable. So there was not, you know, you had some UHF channels that were broadcasting from different countries. Asia was the hardest one to get people to watch. But soon as they got over to showing anime and stuff like that, then people started watching. I caught anime on there. I caught Cyborg 009, Galaxy Express 39, Ikusan, many different series, Captain Harlock. All those series were available to me on television every Saturday night. Then you had Akira come out in the 80s, and that's what changed everything. And this is where we have anime today, where we are today. It is popular. It is good storytelling. Some of it is over the top. Some of it's very dramatic. Graveyard of the Fireflies, that I would say put one in there, on there, or anything by Studio Ghibli. And yeah, there is adult stuff. There's stuff that just like not to be mentioned, lollies and stuff like that. That's a different categorization. Everybody has that source of categorization, whether it's for children, if it's for mature adults, or it's pornography. It's going to happen no matter what. You're going to have it all the way. I mean, you have, and you know, the funny part is that the costuming is much better on there. You have like Avengers and Justice League porn, and they have better costume designs. You know, and the guy who does some of it is on Twitter, and he throws out those designs every once in a while. You know, the new ones and stuff like that, and you got to laugh. You know, it's like the Batman suit or the Batwoman suit. They have like a better Batwoman suit in the porn version than they do in the TV series. But getting back to One Piece, you can't sit there and complain about his work of art, whether he's making fun of the people that criticize him. You know, if you're trying to make a statement that, you know, there are crazy people out there, they're always going to criticize him, fine, go ahead. How many artists do that on a regular basis? I know plenty of them out there in history. You know, you had ones that cut off their ears mind you, to make a point. You had others that painted Sistine Chapel, created some artwork that was totally bizarre. Some who had mental instability, but was able to create such beautiful artwork. And it's the same with novelizations, with movies, with cartoons, with anime, manga. Right now I'm reading, what is it, Kingdom of the Z right now. It's about 2 girls and a boy. It's sort of like High School of the Dead, but it's from a different perspective. And I've gotten through a little bit of it. It's interesting. Do I continue on with it? I won't know until I finish the first two volumes. Another one is Gigant. A little bit more explicit, but the synopsis is pretty crazy. About a boy who wants to get into the movie, a young boy who wants to get into the movies, and basically he gets to meet his favorite porn star, and the porn star has the ability to grow in size, sort of like Giganta in the DC universe. It's like she has an ability to just make herself big size, and all the problems that happen because of this and stuff, and it's real hysterical. So I mean, I have from the synopsis and flipping through the pages, it looks real crazy. Like I said, it is a little bit explicit, but you could be explicit and still be good. For example, High School of the Dead on there. You could be violent. Yeah, it happens. You could be sexual. Yeah, it happens. You could have a little bit of what they call fan service, which that's about every other anime. You know, you kind of laugh at it. Neon Genesis Evangelion. You could talk about religion in a anime. There are many things that goes on with the anime structure. You have to say to yourself, when is this going to stop? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But don't listen to these people. And I keep saying this. Go out and buy physical media. Even if you have to go to eBay, even if you have to go to a library. Libraries are now selling manga. Because they have to make up sometimes for they need to buy new books and stuff like that, keep themselves funded. And they're selling off manga. They're selling off DVDs, physical media. I'm going to tell you, they do it. Go to thrift stores. Go to eBay. Spend a little money, catch this stuff. Because, I mean, if we're going the way of Australia, and I hope we don't, we may not get this anymore. And you may say to yourself, Zane, you're nuts, you're crazy. Yeah, I went a little long on this episode, but it was very important. Because people want to censor all this. All you got to look is how many bad movies, how many bad TV series, how many bad books have been written out there, are out. How many times have you complained about a movie? Have you complained about Star Wars, Star Trek, or a TV series? That's people trying to change things. And all you have to do also, look at the article about the Muppets, which we'll be talking about very soon too. The Muppets, great, you know, I can go in for a bit on the Muppets because I know some of the people that basically work with Television Workshop. And, you know, the atmosphere that they lived in and what now is going on with the Muppets is just becoming atrocious now. You're seeing Disney can't handle the Muppets. But we'll talk that on another episode. So, tell me in the comments below, how do you feel about this? Do you feel that One Piece is over the top, that basically it's stereotyping women? Or do you enjoy it? Do you know that it's just a style of artwork? It's just a style of anime and manga. It's a drawing. That's all it is. If the guy's making it to piss off people, fine. I'm okay with that. If he's doing it as a style of art to convey the story, that's fine too. You can have it. So Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. And don't forget to share this video. We'll catch you on the next video. Lately, I've been rambling on, but I'm not sorry for that. But there's so much detail to get in on there. So we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.